Hi, so space is hard, and this is a lesson that I had to be reminded of when I went to a NASA Tweetup, and Endeavour's launch was scrubbed about 5 hours before it was supposed to lift off due to a mechanical failure. What is NASA Tweetup? NASA selects people at random who apply to be able to attend various NASA functions, whether they're at NASA research centers or at one of their launches for one of their different endeavors that they are holding. The first one was at JPL in California in 2009. There have been 24 of them so far, and there's one more on tap next week, as a matter of fact, for the Grail mission to the moon, which is going to help map the moon a little bit more. It's led by the social media team at NASA, which is probably the finest in our federal government. NASA.gov.connect is the place to go to get all your information. They had the first Foursquare check-in from space, which is, they got that badge. Why did I want to go to NASA Tweetup? I mean, look at me. I look ridiculous. I'm a total space geek, and I found out about it at last year's South by Southwest Interactive Conference. They had a panel, and I was like, this is totally my bag. I'm going to go. And I was lucky enough to be selected for the STS-134 Tweetup for Endeavour's final launch this year. I had to go to Florida twice on my own dime, but it was worth every single penny. I went once in April for the initial Tweetup and then for the launch itself. During the Tweetup, we were treated to a VIP tour of Kennedy Space Center. I got to go inside the vehicle assembly building, which is the best cathedral of science you will ever see. Got to learn about the alpha magnetic spectrometer, which was the main payload on the mission. Got to hear astronauts talk. Got to meet the most amazing people I will ever have met in my life. And we all blogged and tweeted and Facebooked all about our experience the whole time, kind of spreading the message of the Tweetup and of the mission. For launch day, this is a good diagram of where I was when Endeavour launched, and I was about 3 miles away from the launch pad, which is as close as you can get being a civilian per se. It was the most unbelievable experience. Just the most unbelievable things humanity has ever produced, in my opinion, are these space shuttles. I was so close to it, I could hear it, I could feel it, like in my bones, it like rattled all the way up through me, and I was crying like a little baby afterwards, because it was just the most beautiful thing I had ever seen in my entire life. Yay, science. So all these people got to share this experience with me, and yes, that's me about 500 yards away from Space Shuttle Endeavour. Why does NASA do it? To educate the public, for government transparency, utilize social media to further NASA's mission, and to connect the community of NASA and space enthusiasts all around the world. There are people that came from all around the world for this one. I came back home and I was totally like jazzed about the experience and telling everybody I know and trying to relate it to my life here in Utah. And I was like, well, what do people in Utah, like how can I relate this for people here in Utah? And only one thing came to mind: the pyramid scheme. So I'm going to try and build a multi-level marketing approach to selling NASA and increasing funding for science and technology in our government. So it starts off with NASA at the top of the pyramid, and then we have our NASA Tweetup community and alumni, and then the alumni friends and family, and now all you, because you're all my friends now, part of the NASA multi-level marketing team, and then all of your friends and family, because you're going to go home and tell them how great NASA is and all the great work they do. We got a lot of benefit from NASA's research. You heard a little bit with the landmines earlier, and through medical technology and the residual technology from the space program and how we get up into space gives us so much. Our next missions coming up, our Juno is actually, it launched a few weeks ago. It's on its way to Jupiter to study that right now. The Grail mission that I mentioned. Mars Curiosity is our next rover that we're sending there. The James Webb Space Telescope, call all your congressmen and representatives and say, fund that. Manned spaceflight is still an integral part of our mission, even though the shuttle program is over. We're working with public and private partnerships to get the right kinds of vehicles to get us into low Earth orbit. There's a lot of facts out there about NASA's budget related to the federal budget. Right now, it's a small part of one of those tiny little squares in the lower right-hand corner. And we get so much in return for it that it's just really important that we keep NASA funded and keep it moving. Because it is hard and it does take some money and we're going to make mistakes, but it's so important for our future and for the progress of humanity. So if you want to get into this, follow NASA Tweetup on Twitter, and then you'll hear about the next one, and maybe you'll get to go too. Up-level NASA.